Okay. All right. So today is October 14th of 2024, and we're just gonna go over last week's price action as well as the outlook for today. Actually, the outlook for this week. Just give me a second here. Am I actually connected here? Okay, so I'm actually connected. All right, I had to turn it off and then back on to make sure I was connected. All right, so last week we ended the week pretty well. Last week I had expected to. Here we go. All right, let's go over the 15-minute. Okay, so last Friday actually, going into the morning, last Friday I had expected price to draw higher. It actually did. Same thing on ES, draw higher. Why did I think that? Well, um, on ES, we hadn't yet taken buy side liquidity. I mean, we did during the Asia London, during the New York AM session. We took out Asia and London, and then we drew lower, and then we drew higher, and we did not take buy side. So going into the next day, I had expected this area to hold because this right here are jagged edges, kind of like yeah, this is where like the water is not safe. So if you're a swimmer, you wouldn't necessarily go into these areas. So that's why price drew higher. And these areas, as you can see, right next to each other, very clear highs. And so I expect the price to draw higher into those areas. Not only that though, but the previous day NQ took out buy side, and then it took out sell side during the morning session, right? And we actually got long down here. The only problem was that I actually got into wow, I can't believe this happened. But I was actually in with 3 contracts, expecting to take some off here and then the rest off here. But the contracts that I was in was actually on a paper trade, and I hadn't realized that um, until price actually started showing me that it actually was going to draw higher. So that was it was very frustrating. I was more mad at myself than anything else because that's, I have the DOM here, which I minimized, and the whole time I had it enlarged like this, but I didn't take into account on which account it was in, and it was actually in the simulation account. So that kind of pissed me off. But I actually did end up getting long on one contract, and then I later on took another contract, another trade up here. And so again, I had expected price to draw higher. First stage SMT here, first stage SMT with this low and this low, and this low and this low over here. As you can see, the times of those lows are exactly the same, so they're in sync. And so I began to look for a long. I was in a little too early, but I was confident in the trade, in the fact that maybe it wouldn't trade into this area here, and if it did, my last ad would have been here. But it didn't. So that was actually even better for price action. So going into the 5-minute, um, I once again expected price to trade higher. And on the 5-minute, what I wanted to see is after it drew this inverse here, I wanted to see price trade through and violate that. Same thing here, trade through and violate that. Actually, into the morning session, I had already taken a trade. When it took out buy side here, I actually entered right here, covered into this low down here. And so this area here is where I got into the long. All right, so again, after price took out buy side up here, and I saw this gap right here draw itself, these right here were breakaway gaps, so I jotted that down. We also took out sell side first, then went into take out buy side. Perfect draw. Price drew lower, covered into these areas here. Price drew back into 50% of the range. I probably should have added back here, and then because I knew that this low down here was the actual draw on liquidity. but obviously that didn't happen. So because I was more interested in taking it long. So uh, as soon as price opened, what did it do? It drew into these areas down here, which was also the gap on the 1 hour that I'd been paying attention to the previous days. Um, and here is where actually I realized, actually it was this right here. Here, as soon as price took out this high, I covered one contract at 31 points because I had entered down here. Covered one at 31 points. Then I checked to see my execution, and then I realized that I was actually in a paper trade in a simulation account. So once price drew into this area here, I knew that this low here was protected. Why? Because we have buy side liquidity swept, sell side liquidity swept, because this down move treats a lot of sellers into jumping into the market, and then they get stopped with this area here. And as you can see here, this candle is where I actually jumped in after price closed above this order block right here. So I jumped into this area long, covered into this high here. So that was, that was okay. I like that trade because again, I realized that I was in a paper account, and then as soon as I realized that, I actually jumped in my actual account and jumped into one contract because I probably should have just added, because at this time I was already break even. Really, I was break even between this. I was, let me rephrase that. On my paper account, I was break even because I had already covered one, because I had added one up here, down here, and then I think another one here. So in that aspect, I was break even in that trade while thinking that I was in my actual trade. But this was an actual trade right here, and I should have re-added all three of my contracts here on my actual account when I realized the price was actually going to start speeding up. Probably should have covered one here, and then the last one's up here. But that's neither here nor there. So anyways, okay, had to sneeze. But anyways, so going into the afternoon session, all right. So going into the afternoon session, we had still yet to what is it? We had still yet to well, we had already what's the word? We had already drew into buy side liquidity here. Actually, was it? It was up here. We took out Asia high here for buy side liquidity, initial buy side, and then there was another level up here that I wanted to see get broken. So waited for price to retrace, and then price did into 50% of the range on this unicorn here. I actually got long right here and covered into 50 points. Then I waited a couple more areas to see what couple more hours to see what happened. Price here swept this low, swept this high, jumped into one long. I was actually in long here, expecting this inversion to hold, but my stop was actually down here because I knew these lows were protected. And so I wanted to see what price did here, and it actually held because, as you can see here, right here. So I actually caught, yeah, it was actually right here. Caught along here, but what I wanted to see on the 5 minute was, I wanted to see the 5 minute maybe tap this area, and then close higher, and it actually did. It did not close down here. It actually closed up here. So that's a pretty good sign. As soon as price violated this area of support here, as soon as it violated, it did trade lower, swept this low, and as soon as it swept this low, I was comfortable holding, because what this sweep meant that we had already taken out sell side, buy side on the 5 minute, but on the 1 minute we had yet to do that. And I was waiting for something like that here somewhere. I wanted to see this high get swept, and then maybe this low get swept, but that didn't happen. And then price kept going, swept this high and this low here, covered into this high here. So pretty good trades overall on a Friday. And I was comfortable trading that Friday because we did have news, so I expected price to be very fluid that day. I did come into the 1500, well, the 1500 macro to see what happened here. And this actually makes sense. The fact that it swept here once again and then finally drew into the objective. But I wasn't willing to take that because we had already taken 3 green trades, and by that time I was a little I guess you can say emotionally spent. My emotional capital was kind of spent, so I didn't want to put any much more burden on that. But I probably should have, because I knew that these lows were protected. So that's just something I added to my notes over the weekend, um, to hopefully take into account this week, should a situation like that present itself. So this week, the outlook. Uh, so on the weekly, we closed all-time highs on ES. So right now, for me, the objective for the week is the previous week high. I want to see. So yeah, the previous week high. But what I want to see starting at the beginning of the week is I want to see price retrace into this gap here, and then maybe draw higher. I want to see the new week opening gap act as a magnet to price. Same thing on NQ. I want to see a retrace before price draws higher, because right now what I'm looking for is I'm looking for a draw from an imbalance to an imbalance, and then maybe rebalance this whole imbalance up here. So I want to see what price does that. Let's see here. Oh, okay, that's why. Okay, all right, never mind. I updated my time frame, so you're not going to be able to see the weekly until I connect to data. So we closed below consequent encroachment on NQ, so I do want to see price retrace maybe back into this area, or even this area here, and then draw higher. I want this whole imbalance to get rebalanced here on the weekly, and then maybe we finally close above here somewhere. I'm not necessarily looking for these highs to get swept, but I am looking for price to rebalance this whole imbalance, and then maybe finally take out the previous week high, previous month high as well. This right here is the previous month high, so I want price to stay above this area. If it trades into this area, that's fine too. Um, but I want price to hold here and then draw higher. If it completely starts closing down here, then we might see lower prices, because on the daily we did sweep buy side up here. Technically on NQ we didn't, and we do have SMT between this high and this high and this high and this high. So that could maybe again be the cause for retracement into this area here, and then we draw higher, or it can be a cause for an actual sell-off before we take sell side and then we draw higher, because we do have relative equal lows down here. That's all generated liquidity on the higher time frame. So we'll see what price wants to do. So let's go ahead and connect to data and see what it did over the weekend. Well, not over the weekend. Uh, After yesterday, price opened at 1500, at 1800. Yeah, this is the daily. I'll switch to the weekly here. Don't tell me we're drawing higher. Jeez. Oh man. Well, there goes my idea. Okay, so let me tell you why it doesn't surprise me that we drew higher. Well, the reason why we drew higher, and I suspect it has to do a lot more with NQ than it does ES, but the reason we drew higher was because one factor I did not. There we go, much better. Wait. All right, so I guess we'll have to re-add it. I thought I had changed that, but we actually didn't. I realized that the weekly was drawing the wrong closes and opens. They were drawing the closes and opens of the 1600 candles, but I want to see the full 18 to 1700 candle. But whatever. So last week we actually closed below consequent encroachment. Um, Same thing here. Last week we actually closed below consequent encroachment, and now we're drawing higher. Why is that? Well, on the weekly, as you can see, we actually closed above constant encroachment on the 1600 candle, but on the 1700 candle, we actually closed below. But that's not all. It's not only that though. On the daily, which is where my attention has been at, on the daily, we actually created an inside candle here. Like had, yeah, like an inside candle. And as I had previously explained, where was it? It was actually, was it this one? No, it wasn't that one. It was this one right here. So whenever you get an inside candle, and whenever price, the body of the candle is in the upper 25% of the previous body's candle, that is a bullish sign, which means that as soon as that bullish sign, as soon as you get that type of candle, you should start looking for longs, or you should start, or if it's a bullish inside candle, then you're safe to assume the price will gravitate towards the highs and continue to draw higher. And that's exactly what's happening here. We have an inside candle, price is drawing higher, inside candle, price is drawing higher. So the fact that we're drawing higher does not surprise me. And if we close above consequent encroachment, I mean above this weekly candle, there's actually another daily candle here. So let's add this right here because I want to keep DFBG. Okay, perfect. Okay, so I'll be watching these quadrants to see where we're standing going into the rest of the day. So these are the quadrants for the week for the daily candle. I want to see how price holds, how price reacts here at consequent encroachment. This could still be a very bullish day where price just reaches towards these highs, but as of right now, price is already too high for me to want to even participate in these areas. And I actually did have 15-minute BSL here. 15-minute BSL did not take here. It probably did actually. So today, very bullish, but I'm not willing to participate in this market just yet. And again, the reason why we're still drawing higher is because we had an inside candle the previous day, not this day, but the previous day. So we now have continuation. Same thing here. We have an inside candle closed above this candle here. So two, actually not really. This one closed above that high, but this one is an inside candle of this one. And the fact that we're still within this candle here shows me that we're still bullish. So again, I'm not willing to get long up here. That's a definite no-no. I want to see a clear retracement. Now, whether it draws into this area here is probably out of the picture now because we're already up at this high today. So today, if I do take any trades, it'll be on the smallest time frame with the smallest take profit that I'm looking to take. And I will be looking at maybe imbalances here because we already took out liquidity up here, right? And right now on the weekly here we're already at an imbalance. So right now we're trading from imbalance to liquidity. I mean from an imbalance to imbalance, and we're already above it. But on the daily we're still within an imbalance. So I want to see how price reacts up here. I think based on how today closes will give me a better understanding as to what price wants to do going forward here. Again, on NQ we're already at all-time highs. I mean on ES, on NQ we have yet to even scratch that surface. We still have about what 500 points to get up there, and maybe we do reach that area here because right now we're still on a weekly market maker sell buy model here, and we already took first distribution, first stage. This might be second stage, and second stage, as you know, second stage is always the quickest to get to its objective. um, so yeah, we'll see what price wants to do. But I've only analyzed the daily here. So on the daily, I'm bullish. We already took out previous month high, previous week high. So the current objective right now, it seems like we are drawing towards the high of this previous weekly gap. And then the second objective will be the high of this gap here. and then the final objective obviously would be here. So if this inside candle, proves to be true, then I don't expect price to come back down here. I expect price to just continue drawing higher, because as you can see here, price did not come back until after it took the objective, which the objective was this imbalance here. So I don't expect price to come back down here until it takes the objectives. The first objective is this area here. On the weekly, it's already taken the objective, right? But if price is going to continue to draw higher, then I suspect this to be the objective on the weekly. On the daily, we've already taken the daily objective, but this would be the second daily objective, all right? So let's go over to the 4-hour and see where we're at. All right, so we did draw into this gap here. I'm going to go ahead and delete this. I don't need this. Let's get rid of this. Just way too much. Perfect. And I don't need this. I do need this. This one I don't necessarily need. At least not anymore. But let's do it anyways. So we have first stage SMT, second stage SMT on the 4-hour. This is the daily, or actually the daily, the 1-hour. This is the 4-hour. This I still need. I don't need this anymore. This I need. Damn, it sucks. Okay, so right now we already, like I said, we already took out buy side here. So I don't need this anymore actually. This I do need. 15-minute, 4-hour. I was basing my idea off the 4-hour if we swept this low, but since we already swept these highs and this is buy side swept. So we're already above previous week high. We're already above previous day high. On ES, we're already above all-time highs. Previous day high. Let's just leave it at that. Previous day high. This is the current day low. So this to me is sell side liquidity. Yep, sell side liquidity. We have relative equal lows down here, but I don't think these come back to catch on either. So first stage SMT, second stage SMT, first stage SMT, second stage. So the fact that we have second stage here, again, we are in the upper quadrant of the daily imbalance here. Actually, no, this is consequent encroachment of the daily candle, extreme discount, extreme premium, and terminus up here. I don't need this anymore. Alright, that's fine. Darn. I don't need this anymore. Alright, so we do have an imbalance here. this anymore either. This I do need, because these are the 4 hours. Right. Okay. The reason why I don't use this previous day low is because these lows are relatively equal, so I don't need to do that. It just adds too much to the chart right there. Okay, so we do have previous month low, previous day low here. All right, whatever. We also have a gap here. I'm only adding it for reference. I'm not going to use them because I haven't zoomed in yet. So I'm just adding them just so I know where price is, where price, what price was doing at those times. Um, so again, we're already at all-time highs here. Right? And this gap here has 50% of the range. This was the previous day's low. So you know what? I'm also going to take this out. I don't need this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the low of Friday, because Friday oftentimes becomes the oftentimes gives you the direction as to where price will draw towards, whether it's whether it's what's the word, standard deviations, or maybe yeah, standard deviations basically. So I'm going to use those two. Um, this whole range right here, 50% of it is down here. This range is this range here, 50% of this range here. Actually, this is the previous day's high. It's this one right here. This is the one I want to use. So sell side on the higher time frame is down here. Down here. This is sell side. Sell side on the lower time frames is down here. Let's take a look at the 4 hour, 60 minute. Okay. Still, buy side, sell side is down here. We just opened. I want to see a pullback. Not necessarily to these lows, but to these lows, because I've seen this before. I actually think I went over some charts yesterday that looked a lot like this one. Uh, because as you can see, buy side has already been taken, so there's no messing with that. Sell side hasn't been taken yet, so it could be either. Actually, let's use this one right here. What was it? ES had SMT, so I would like to see ES take out or rebalance into this imbalance here. But that's the 15-minute. This area here too. This is ultimate sell side, but I want to see how a price reacts once it takes out this sell side over here. We do have SMT at these highs here, but I'm not going to take that. At least not until 10 o'clock, because what happens a lot of time is it gives you indication that it might draw lower, and then at 10 o'clock it once again takes out buy side, and then you get to draw lower. So right now, this is buy side. South side. So I am willing to take a short, just not right now. It's just not ready. I don't need this anymore. This I can take out. This I can take out. Because the momentum started here on the 4 hour. This is technically sell side, but I'm looking at momentum right now. And what I mean by momentum is, where did price start drawing higher? The price started drawing higher outside of consolidation. See, this all right here is consolidation. This candle is the candle that started it all. We just hit the top of that, the top of the weekly candle. And we're still getting expansion. Still getting expansion, new all-time highs here. Let's take a look. 5 minute. This is buy side here. South side. And we do have just a tad bit of buy side, sell side over here. Just leave those there. Price is just continuing to draw higher. That's very unfortunate. So I don't think we will get a setup today. I think maybe we might just get a retracement going into the afternoon session. Today is a holiday, Columbus Day. I wasn't expecting the day to go like this, but it makes sense given the daily price action. It's a pretty big candle, but I'm not looking to get a short or long of in these areas because, again, sell side is all the way down here. Nothing here. Nothing here. This is all generated liquidity. I'll just update that later on. This is the hourly here. Okay, so if I do take a short, it's going to be quick to these lows down here. But I don't see anything just yet. I mean, we did take out sell side here. Could this be it? In the 1 minute, we already kind of set up a model here. What I do want to see is I want to see price draw to these lows down here. So let's just check. $600 is 10 points. we're already way above. Yeah, we're already way above here. As you can see here, we took out sell side first. Now we're at buy side. We're already way above the weekly here. So setting up the 10 o'clock macro, I don't want to see price draw higher anymore. All right, I'm going to take one here. My stop will be up here. Let's go ahead and set the stop now. Stop is 600.25. All right, so I got my stop there. It's just one contract, so I'm not really too. Oh no. All right, let's get out now. All right, I just took it out because it just kept doing what I didn't want to see. So I'm just gonna leave it there because if it comes down here, I don't know. So I'm just basically stepping in front of a freight train right now. So I just took it off. Because we got two scenarios right now. One, it'll either draw towards these highs. Actually, I will jump in if we get a gap similar to this trade here that I took last week. What was it? This one. Get a gap, enter long into these lows over here. Only if I see a breakaway gap though. Other than that, I'm not looking to take any more. I'm gonna run these notes here. Unicorn here. Alright, nothing. Okay, I think ES might be ES is definitely the stronger of the two because we're already at all-time highs and Q is not. Yeah, because the daily is has an inside candle, I'm not gonna a bullish inside candle. I'm not gonna jump into this just yet. I do like this right here though. If price comes down and breaks through this candle, I want to see how it reacts. This one doesn't have it. None of these have. All of this right here is balanced correctly. All right. going to do is also set up the breaker in case we do come down here. We are holding about this above this gap here. And we're about to close on the 15-minute. Wow, we're just taking off. All right, we swept the high again. Okay, so now we have a swing high, swing low. We have 5 minutes until the macro. If I don't see anything at 10 o'clock, then I think that'll be it. I'm not looking to stay overstay my welcome here. We're just taking off. Let's go ahead and zoom out. If this becomes an expansion Monday, then I think the best thing to do is just wait until the afternoon session. Where is it? It's here somewhere. Because now I think I know what I'm looking for. It's right here somewhere. Oh, right here. This isn't technically all-time highs, but you get a move like this oftentimes where it gives you every indication the price is going to continue to draw higher. Then you get the sell-off, taking out sell side. Then you get the long in the afternoon. If you're lucky enough, you'll get this move. But I'm looking actually for this move right here. right, so the what am I trying to say? Um, the macro just started, and there is no way I'm trading in these environments. Yep, no way. There's probably a model here. Yep, there definitely is. Um, it's on the 15-second. Watch. Yep, right here. Entry is this right here. I actually like this right here. But I don't like that because it left a gap here. So now we have this right here. I want one more sweep and then a draw higher. So if we're still bullish, I want to see this high get swept. If we are going to reverse here momentarily, then I want to see where is it? Actually, you know what? Let's do this. Let's add it. Let's add a new one. Okay, so we just swept the buy side. We just swept buy side. Now I wanna see sell side get swept. Nope, doesn't look like we're getting it. Keeps on drawing up higher lows. There we go. Nothing. Okay. This is a hangman. I think it's called a hangman. Bearish hangman. Let's see how the next one closes. Looks like the hourly is about to close. 30 seconds. what's this? Oh, this is the hourly. I mean the 90-minute cycle. Let's see a pullback into this area here. Since we just took out the high here. Okay, so I don't even know why I'm actually watching this because there is no clear trade. I mean, this could be a good trade here, but I'm not willing to take that. So I'm just gonna um I'm just gonna call it a morning at least until the 11 o'clock macro, and I'll trade later on in the afternoon, um, or at 11 depending on what price looks like then, because this right here is just not good. Uh, Not good to trade in right now. Um, Tiny little model here, but if anything, the best entry was down here. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I will see you tomorrow.